This is part 3 in the Anatomy of a Instructional Design manual, and in this case we are going to look at inserting a table of contents into your document. This is a very important aspect of a document. It gives people a reference point to find information within your manual or other types of document. So we're going to look at how we can generate a table of contents. And the first thing we're going to look at is how we can tell Microsoft Word what to include in the table of contents when it is generating the table of contents. In other words, what information do I want in my table of contents when I am going to insert that table of contents into my document? And we do this by simply marking the text within the table of contents with styles. And if you look up on the Home tab underneath Styles, you'll see there's a variety of styles. And if I click on the drop down, you'll see there's many styles that are system created or created by Microsoft Word, Microsoft people. And these styles can be useful, very useful. You can just use the built-in heading 1, heading 2, 3, and 4 if that's something that you can use. It can easily, quick and easily mark your text in the document that you want to have that style. And besides for allowing you to pull them into a table of contents, they also have a function within the document to break the document into sections, readable sections. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down and we're going to look at our document. We see some elements that have been added, that sidebar and our table of contents, and we have a little pull quote over there and so forth. But I want you to notice certain things. There are certain things within our document, for example, where it says the course goals are to, and if I click in that area, this is a user-created style. In other words, I created this style, and it's beyond the scope of this training, but you can create your own unique style. So I've created that, and you can see it says training in my style list. But if I go over to normal and I click on normal, you're going to see that it removes that style and it sets it to the normal style for this document. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to mark it again with a training style, and you'll see that that gets applied within my document. Okay, and it delineates sections of information within my document, and as I scroll down, you'll see there are different levels of styles within the document. If you click in different areas, they'll be indicated. I just clicked where it says subject, and you can see that's a heading 3 style. Let me see, overview is a heading 2 style, objectives. So the document has been marked in different places for organization, for consistency of appearance, and for structural purposes in my document. Sections have been indicated, and they've been indicated by styles. So that is in itself a useful function of styles, but styles can also be used in other ways, such as inserting a table of contents into a document. So we're going to do that right now. And once we've marked the information within our document that we want to be incorporated in our table of contents, and that's been done, we are going to place our cursor on a blank page. Of course, we want a table of contents to be on its own blank page by itself, so we click over there and we get our insertion point in the correct location. And then once we do that, we will go to the reference tab on the ribbon, and on the reference tab we have a lot of great things that can be used, like for citation and bibliography if you're doing a paper. And also one of the great things about this is it has like the APA, and if we click on the drop down, you'll see Chicago, the MLA, and all the different style for writing papers and things. And you can automatically insert your bibliography information and your citation information and have them placed in the document right where they need to be. It's a beautiful thing. Wish I had known about it when I was doing papers. in college, but it is useful if you have to do that. But let's not get too far off point. Our point is looking at the table of contents. So again, we want to make sure that we have our insertion point where that table of contents is to appear. And on the reference tab, you'll see there's a group that says table of contents. And if I click on the drop down there, you'll see we have several table of contents that we can insert. And you can try different ones and see how they look. And I'm just going to say the automatic, and when I click on that, it may take a second or two, and it's going to automatically generate my table of contents. And if you look up here, you'll see here's the table of contents that's been generated. And I could also, of course, add a title on here, which I would do, a relevant title on top of my table of contents. And the other thing, though, I do want to have an extra page at the bottom of my table of contents, because this works out good. It's 2 pages, and so for the next, I want a blank page before the main body of my training manual begins. So I can click over here, and there's 2 ways you could do this. You could go to layout. And in layout, you could go to insert, and you can go to a page break, or you can go to the insert tab. And I think this is specifically designed for kind of this purpose. You could add a blank page. So if I click on blank page, I add a blank page, so that when I do a double-sided print, the table of contents will work good. There'll be a blank. You should have a blank page after the table of contents. So that's pretty much all there is to generating a table of contents. It's a useful part. It's an important component when you're piecing together your document. Now, of course, all of these things are relatively easy to insert. You still do have to do the work of adding the text elements and the contents, adding the marking your text, and also creating the table of contents itself. I mean, within the document, writing out the correct information for your table of contents. And then when you have these little sidebars, you have to put the correct information and relevant information in there, and also your pull quotes. And then, of course, you have to create the document itself. So it's not taking away that work from you, but these quick part elements help you and expedite your task. Another really nice thing about having a table of contents, and we'll conclude with this topic, is if I have updated the contents of my manual or document, if I've added, for example, another heading, if I have another heading layer added, I can update and include that in my table of contents, so it could continually be updated. Or if I just added content under one of my headings, so pages are running different, I can also use that to update my table of content. And we can simply do that by right-clicking over our table of contents. And when we right-click over the table of contents, you'll see it says Update Field. And when we click on the update field, we're going to get a dialog box with 2 options. And if I had just under one of my subject, I had a subject category, and the subject category, I added a paragraph or 2 underneath it. All the subsequent all the subsequent styles are going to be running on different pages, and I want to update just the pages only. In the other event, if I had added 1 or 2 additional headings anywhere, then I would want to update the entire table. So you have that ability. It will automatically, continually, dynamically have that ability to update as a document gets generated. So you may have created the table of contents a little earlier than the document was completed. That's no worry, no problem. You can always update. And by the way, you can right-click, or there's also an update button over here which when I click on it will give me the same options and dialog box to update my table of contents. So that's part 3, creating a table of contents. Relatively easy. Again, make sure you mark your text with the proper styles. Also remember that you can create your own styles. But if you just want to use heading 1, 2, and 3, it will work perfectly, and you'll have a nice professionally looking table of contents. Okay, so that's part 3 of the anatomy of a training manual, and we will continue to look at other components of a training manual and or any other type of document that may be being created.